Welcome to Parent Squad. I'm Felicia Lawrence, and it is a fear that every parent has. Your child just gets into something and then all of a sudden it's in their mouth. It can be a terrifying moment for sure, and it's important to know what to do next. So here today to talk more about poison prevention is Dr. Blake Froberg, Medical Director of Indiana Poison Center here at IU Health. My biggest fear is not knowing that something has been swallowed or that he's gotten into something. So as a parent of a 23-month-old, that's why I'm always like, oh, what's going on? So let's actually start with the numbers here. Children under 6 make up nearly half of exposure cases reported to the Indiana Poison Center. Why is that? What's happening here with these young kids?
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons why younger kids get into things. One, it's kind of how they explore their environment. So they're roaming around, they see something, they don't know what it is, they think, I might try this, I might eat it, see what it tastes like. Kids also sometimes will actually imitate what they see their parents do. So if they see their parents take a medication on a daily basis, they may also want to try and imitate what their parents are doing. In addition, there are certain products that will sometimes look similar to, food or candy, and so that can confuse a child, and a child can think, oh, I'm eating a piece of food or candy, and it ends up being something that they should not get into. So those are a lot of the reasons why young kids will get into those things.
And we also know, of course, lack of supervision. That is such a tough one because you can't watch. I know we all say that. You cannot watch your kid 24/7.
Yeah, I agree that it's very hard. So of course, keeping a close eye on your child, but then you can also take some steps for those short moments where you can't watch your child. You can take some steps to make it harder for them to get into something that could be harmful as well.
Certainly doing the best you can to child-proof and just be smart about some things. I know he had some toys early on, and I was like, I'm just going to throw this away immediately because it had small pieces. And so I was like, it's not even worth trying to keep it and figure it out. Okay, so what are the most common types of accidental ingestion you see?
Yeah, so there's a number of things that we see, year after year that are in those kind of top 10 items that young children get into. So over-the-counter medications like acetaminophen, ibuprofen. We also see a lot of kids that get into multivitamins, melatonin, and allergy medications. On top of that, a lot of household products like cleaners, hand sanitizers, things that are around in most people's houses are what we see the most commonly.
Right, and then the vitamins, I'm already imagining that because those don't usually come with a child lock. And you think, oh, you're not thinking vitamin C that's not in your head as a dangerous category. So it easily gets left on the countertop. Or the household items, he is obsessed with the laundry pods or the dishwashing pods, and I'm always trying to make sure those are in a safe place.
Yeah, some of those items are brightly colored and look like they could be candy or a toy or something that a kid would really want to get into.
Yes, I have seen a lot of videos online talking about the buttons, the really small button batteries that come in a lot of toys and things of such, and how important it is to get that out as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's important as a parent to know if you have any button batteries in your house, because those can be extremely dangerous when kids ingest those. They can be really harmful to the throat and stomach lining if those are ingested. So those are things that you want to keep track of. They're small, so kids, if they do get a hold of those, can easily swallow them.
Yes. So what should we be doing if we're not sure what they have swallowed?
Yeah, so if you're not sure what they've swallowed, you can always call the Indiana Poison Center. So the Indiana Poison Center is available 24/7. It's free to call. If you have concerns that your child has gotten into something, you can call and talk about what your concerns are, and then they can guide you as to what kind of symptoms would be concerning, and whether your child can be watched at home, or whether if your child's gotten into something that's potentially dangerous enough, if they should actually go into medical care for an evaluation.
Okay, at least helping you think and possibly helping you go over symptoms of what to look
Yes,
for.
yes.
That makes sense.
Yep.
You have actually seen some new additions to this list in the past few years. So let's talk about that. Some of the things, one of them being GLP-1s. You've
Yeah.
seen children that have gotten into that because they've seen their parents.
Yeah, so they've perhaps seen their parents administering that. Those are often kept in the refrigerator, so an area that a lot of children are going to potentially have access to. And then, it's a medication that a lot of people are on now. And so anytime you have an increase in a product, we see increase in accidental exposures as well.
Okay, and then THC gummies. We know it is outlawed in the state of Indiana, but neighboring states actually have it as well.
Yeah. So I think across the United States, and Indiana's no different, we've seen a big spike in kids getting into those products.
That one's tough because it looks just like candy.
Yeah, they look just like candy, just like a dessert. And because of that, sometimes we even see older age group kids that come across something like that and think that they're finding candy or dessert and eat it, and then can have kind of the unwanted effects from getting into that as well.
Because it just doesn't matter where you hide these things. Kids are always, I remember being a child and finding things. They are going to find it.
Yes, yeah.
They are going to find it. So you got to find a way to protect your house, your household, your kids, lock it up. You got to find a better way. So even things like supplements or water additives, you're saying can be troubling, and you've seen this in your practice recently.
Yeah, so I would say that any substance in the wrong amount can end up being a toxin. So you just want to be cautious. Luckily, young kids usually get into a small amount, and so there can still be things that are dangerous even in a small amount. But when you think about older school-age kids and even adults, no matter what substance it is, if you get into the wrong amount of it, sometimes some things that we think of as non-harmful can then become harmful.
And then let's also talk about these age ranges, because we started off talking about kids ages 6 and under.
Yes.
But you're also seeing older children have an issue with some of these things.
Yeah, so, the Poison Center is here for everybody. So if you're worried about an exposure, or somebody has gotten into something that they shouldn't, you can call the Poison Center and find out what to do. In younger kids, it's usually exploratory, or what a lot of people think of as an accidental exposure. As kids get older, sometimes they know they shouldn't be getting into it, but curiosity gets the best of them. Mm-hmm. And then when you get into older, populations, you start to get kind of intentional exposures. People knowing that they shouldn't get into something, but they still get into it. But the Indiana Poison Center will help you out with any of those situations. So if you find that you or someone in your family is in a situation where they've been exposed to something, you can call the Poison Center. They'll help you out through all those situations.
Okay, Dr. Froberg is here. Before we go, he has some advice for us to try to prevent some of these accidental poisonings. So these are some best practices that you want to make sure that you are doing in your household. We talked about it just a moment ago, making sure we have child-resistant latches on cabinets, things like that. For us, we have lately really had to make sure the under the sink cabinet is closed, like I told you with the dishwashing pods.
Yeah. So of course, having things locked away, kind of in non-visible areas, thinking about getting a lockbox for medications and things that are a little bit more dangerous that kids could get into, making sure that you're not storing products in their non-original containers. So if you store something like antifreeze in a sports drink bottle, that could be a setup for an accidental ingestion.
Yes.
And then you also want to think about making sure that you don't have toxic plants or other things that kids could easily get into as well.
Okay. How would we know if it was I guess we would have to do some Googling because I
Yeah,
know we talk about
yeah.
toxic plants for dogs and cats.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh man, what? But I guess if a child is ingesting something, then you just never know with children. I guess that's the
Yeah.
tough thing. And of course, remembering anything can be dangerous in large amounts. We were just talking about that. Even water, a child. I told you a story of a kid in high school that drank too much water and got sick. It was high school. They were trying to show off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a good example of how too much of anything can end up being dangerous.
Okay. All right. And if you even think that there could be a possibility of an accidental poisoning, he has already instructed us to call the Indiana Poison Center. They can help absolutely anybody, regardless of age, regardless of what you know or what you don't know. Maybe not just wait and see. You want to know exactly what you're looking for.
Yes. yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Really important information. Hopefully it just jogs some parents' memories so that if and when something does happen, they are able to go think fast and get to the right people, get the right help. We have more information on the Indiana Poison Center. You can head to WTHR.com/Parent Squad. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and for having me here today.
Yes, we'll be right back.